What if writing wasn't only about the final paper? What if it could increase learning? If you're an instructor who teaches a course with a lot of writing and you're curious about those questions, then this video is for you. This presentation is called Applying Writing to Learn in Your Classroom. Writing to Learn is one of the basic foundations of writing across the curriculum, or WAC, which we use in Mason's writing intensive courses. WAC believes that writing should be an integral part of the learning process throughout a student's education, not merely in required writing courses, but across the curriculum. The modern WAC movement, which started in the 70s, views writing as more than a product to assess in one class in one semester. Mason's WAC program builds on that foundation by encouraging faculty to view and use writing as a means enabling learning throughout a student's tenure. Mason's WAC program is also grounded in research, which shows that students need 4 kinds of knowledge to effectively communicate. Students need subject matter knowledge. They also need to know their audience and the purpose for communicating with that audience. We call this rhetorical knowledge. Students also need to know the kind of text they're writing, also known as formal knowledge. And students need to know how they will develop that text effectively, or process knowledge. Expert writers integrate these areas of knowledge, leading to another type of knowledge called genre knowledge. Mason's writing intensive courses use 3 ways of writing: writing to learn, writing to communicate, and writing as process. That's how students will develop the 4 areas of knowledge that I just mentioned. In the rest of this presentation, I'll share an overview of just writing to learn. I'll tell you how it works, why it works, and what you can do to integrate it in your class. So Mason students are expected to be able to use writing to inquire, invent, and reflect on what they're learning. From a WAC perspective, that means writing to learn. To do this type of writing, students need shorter, low-stakes writing that helps them to explore an idea, problem, concept, or question in their fields. It's messy writing, and that's good because the primary audience for this type of writing is the student. And the main goal is to explore their subject matter. So, what does writing to learn look like in the classroom? In the next set of slides, I'll share some examples of writing activities that faculty can use to take advantage of the writing to learn approach. Our first activity is a quick 1 to 5 minute activity called 3, 2, 1. At the top of a class, or even at the end of a class, faculty can help students to explore a concept by writing 3 things you remember about the concept, 2 questions you have, 1 resource you need. As you can see, this activity is low stakes. You could complete it on index cards. And the goal is to give students the space to see what they know or don't know about a concept. You can even use it after completing a major unit in your course. Well, what if you're getting your class ready for an upcoming project? This writing to learn activity called mind mapping can help. You can use it to help your students brainstorm and invent some ideas for their project. Mind maps are also good to help students see what they already know about the concepts in their project. They can be collaborative or they can be individual activities, no matter your preference. Don't forget that they are intended to help the student to see what they see and think on paper. The student is the main audience. Now, what if an instructor wants their students to reflect on what they just learned using writing? Writing to learn can help with that as well. You can use it as a form of reflection at the end of a major unit or after writing a major paper or an exam. Here's a prompt you could use that can be adapted. Reflecting develops critical thinking. Consider concept X and reflect on the following. What did you know about this concept prior to this class? What has changed about the way you think of this concept? Can concept X apply to situation Y? If so, how? If not, why not? What remaining questions do you have about concept X? Don't forget that reflecting takes time, especially if a prompt asks students to consider multiple ideas. So plan 20 to 60 minutes for this type of writing, or make it a homework task. You could even ask students to reflect through writing on their overall learning process. Here's a sample prompt for that. Reflecting is about looking into the past to prepare for the future. Use your last assignment as evidence and talk about what you're realizing about your strengths, areas of growth, and your process. What would you change in future projects to improve as a learner or writer? This activity can be done at home or in class. You can also use it to have students think about their midterms and help them reflect on their learning during the first half of the semester. Remember, writing to learn activities are exploratory, written by the student for the student. Mechanics are not the main point. And WAC has found that writing to learn benefits both students and faculty. Students use writing to learn become more engaged in their learning because they're writing on content that matters to them and their fields. They're more nuanced in their thinking, and they can communicate more effectively to others in the disciplines. Faculty benefit too. Faculty teaching with writing can join WAC's faculty learning communities and workshops. Through participating in these events, faculty become part of a cross-disciplinary community where they learn from each other and WAC specialists on how to enhance their teaching. They even get feedback on their teaching materials to better support their students' learning. Want to take advantage of those benefits? Please reach out to our WAC team, who'll connect you to one of our highly rated workshops and other resources. Thanks for listening.